Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rekah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth and who rule well. And a sincere salutations to the Tabernacle of David, you Akim pushing this truth to the four corners of the earth in all truth, faith, and sincereness. And a healthy shalom to the Akwath who are also listening and learning. It's Zakaria coming at you with another lesson, and Lord's willing, and be edifying. So I was doing some more research on this whole Sri Lanka situation. I wanted to see how it ultimately came about, and stumbled across some information that shows me how the Sri Lanka situation and the Netherlands situation relate to one another. Okay, they have similar issues. All right, so I'm going to dive into a little bit of this article, and once again, Lord's willing, to be edifying. Okay, and it reads: complete collapse. Here's how ESG destroyed one nation's economy. Sri Lanka has run out of fuel and is facing the worst economic crisis in decades. A chemical fertilizer ban in 2021, part of an initiative to cut nitrogen waste and implement greener farming practices, drastically reduce crop yields and damage Sri Lanka's trade balance. The decision to overnight shift away from synthetic fertilizer was an absolute disaster, economist Peter Earle told the Daily Caller News Foundation. All right, and that's and this is the main point that I want to highlight. All right, the implement to go greener. Okay, you know, these countries are both Sri Lanka and the Netherlands. They're both pushing this green agenda. Okay, to lower nitrogen emissions. Okay, but the consequences of doing this is hurting the countries, okay, and bringing these countries into bankruptcy and bringing forth an unstable government and economy, and then sedition amongst the people. All right, so let's get a little bit more. It reads: Sri Lanka is in a last-ditch effort to stave off economic collapse after allegedly climate-friendly ban on artificial fertilizer devastated one of the country's largest industries, according to experts. It says Sri Lanka has been wrecked with poverty, inflation, fuel shortages, and on a massive scale, with Prime Minister declaring Tuesday that the country has gone bankrupt. All right, let's jump down. It says a ban on chemical fertilizer implemented April 2021 in an effort to promote organic farming proved the final straw after a string of missteps, decimating Sri Lanka's primary source of income and forcing it into bankruptcy, experts told the Daily Caller News Foundation. All right, so from there, we're just going to jump down to right here. It says the government lifted the fertilizer ban in November 2021, but the damage had already been done. Peter Earle, a former financial markets trader and economist at the American Institute of Economic Research, told the DCNF the decision to overnight shift away from synthetic fertilizers was an absolute disaster, he said. Okay, so we're going to scroll down. All right, to right here. And it reads, the UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs estimated in the report that crop production for 2021-2022 season decreased by 40 to 50%. And so far, farmers have only utilized a quarter of the available land for the upcoming season, according to the report dated June 9th. Environmental Minister Mahinda Amawera declared a government initiative to save the earth from our own geoengineering misuse, greed, and selfishness. In 2020, ahead of a forum on on halving nitrogen waste. The move was part of Sri Lanka's effort to pursue environmental, social, and governance goals. The country signed on to a green finance taxonomy with international finance corporations in May that included a commitment to organic fertilizer. Okay, so you see, there's always more to the story. All right, let's get a precept. Salakia. We're going to get a precept. This is, what do we want? This is Psalms chapter 94 and verse 20. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which framest mischief by law? All right. So this is what these Edomites do. Okay. These Edomites, Esau, Edom, okay, which is the biblical nationality of the white race or nation. Okay. They frame mischief by law. Okay. And all these other countries' governments is in confederate with Esau, Edom. Okay. These top presidents are with the agenda. Okay. They're with this new world order. They're with this great reset. All right. That's why you see these presidents and prime ministers around the world, living fat off the hog, man, because they're all for it. But this is what these Edomites do, man. They frame mischief by law. Okay, they came into this country preaching go green, let's go green. This is better for the nature. This is better for the planet. Less nitrogen emissions. Okay, all in the back of their mind, they had the full understanding and intent on destroying this country's economy. Okay, because ultimately it's going to be order out of chaos, man. They're going to cause all this chaos and come in as the hero with their charagma. Okay, the Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16. The MOTB. Okay, but anyway, let's go back to the article. All right, so it says we're gonna go down a little bit more, and it says, I want to get this right here. It says inflation in Sri Lanka stood at 54.6 in June, according to Trading Economics, with food prices 80%. And transportation 128% since May. Reuters reported 500,000 people have sunk into poverty as of early 2022, the Guardian report, to the extent that any part of this organic agriculture decision was made based upon some version of green or green from the ideologies. This is just the first of many unintended consequences we've seen from these kind of policies, said Earl. All right, because they're using their pseudoscience, man. They have these people put together these plans, in an office somewhere, and they just feed it to the people, and the people go along with it, all the well knowing that they're working mischief, man. They have an agenda. Let's get this one more time. Psalms 94 and 20. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by law? All right. And let's get another one. All right. This is Daniel chapter 8 and verse 25. And through his policy, also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. All right. And let's look up that word craft. Okay. Let's go to tools and go to craft. He shall call craft to prosper. And let's go to outline of biblical usage. He shall call deceit and treachery to prosper, man. Okay, this is what these devils do. This is what these devils do, man. This is their MO. Okay? So from here, let's go to what's going on in the Netherlands. Matter of fact, let's play this quick clip that I have queued up.
And in the Netherlands, farmers are staging nationwide protests after government's decision to cut down on its emissions of nitrogen oxide and ammonia by 2030. The decision has resulted to cause discomfort in the Netherlands' lucrative agriculture sector. The Dutch government decided to slash 50% of its nitrogen emissions by 2030 and has set aside an extra fund of $25.6 billion to make the necessary changes. But this decision has sparked a nationwide protest by the farmers. Agitated farmers believe the target is unfeasible and will only threaten their livelihood. Moreover, farmers across the country held mass demonstrations and blocked highways with their tractors, while few of them had a scuffle with police officials just outside the home of minister in charge of government's nitrogen policy. Meanwhile, as clashes continue between farmers and the government, the decision aims at protecting environment and human health from the pollution caused by nitrogen oxide and ammonia, raising the nutrient levels and acidity in the soil, leading to a reduction in biodiversity, while airborne nitrogen...
All right, so that's enough of that. So you know what's going on. Now, this is a article from the New York Post, all right? Good for Dutch farmers for fighting back against government bowing to environmental radicals, all right? Now, why is this so important about what's going on in the Netherlands, all right? Very important. Pay attention to this part because let's go down to here. It says, okay, right here. It says, the Netherlands is the largest exporter of meat in Europe and the second largest exporter of food overall after the United States. A remarkable feat for a nation half the size of India. Okay. Food exports generate more than 100 billion a year in revenue. Exports attribute the nation's success to its farmers' embrace of technological innovations. All right. So the Netherlands is Europe's largest export of meat, man, and the second largest export of food overall. Okay. And that's huge. I never knew that, but that's huge. So they're feeding, you know, they're exporting things. So they're sending their goods out to all these other countries. Now, think about if what happens in Sri Lanka happens to the Netherlands. You see how this affects the global food chain? Think about it. Man, these people are the devil, man. These Edomites are the devil. All right. So it says the Netherlands is the largest. Slovakia. The Netherlands is the largest export of meat in Europe and the second largest export of food overall after the United States. And after the United States, a remarkable feat for a nation half the size of Indiana. Food exports generate more than 100 billion a year in revenue. Exports attribute the nation's success to its farmers' embrace of technological innovations. But even many of the political left say the government demands are too extreme, based on radical green fantasies and dodgy science. Right. They're pseudoscience. Okay. They know very well what's going to happen if they, you know, get these farmers to do what they want them to do. All right. If they eliminate 1/3 of these farmers, they know it's going to cause a food crisis. Okay. Just like they knew if they did it down in Sri Lanka, what was going to happen. So it seems to be very fast, said Wim D. Veris, a professor at waging and blah 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 university and research, who 10 years ago made alarmist claims about planet. Okay, skip that. All right, let's get to the point. Okay, here we go. It says the government is demanding a cut in nitrogen pollution of 50% by 2030. That amount would require a livestock reduction of 1/3 or more, and thus bankrupt many farmers. Okay, a reduction of 1/3 of the livestock. Come on, man. And bankrupt farmers. It says, and the farmers say the government's pollution measures models is inaccurate. They say measurements near seawater distort nitrogen calcium calculations. Data shows ammonia pollution from manure has already declined by nearly 70% since 1990. And farmers say they will continue to reduce pollution as they put in place low-cost, common-sense fixes like diluting manure with water and injecting it into the soil and more frequently washing down barn floors. Netherlands is something of a model for the efficient use of nitrogen fertilizer in farming. Since the early 1960s, the Netherlands has doubled its yields while using the same amount of fertilizer. It's hard not to conclude the politics and green ideology more than science and reason are driving the government's decision. Right. Right. What's driving the government's decision is this new world order, this great reset. You'll own nothing and be happy. It was Henry Kissinger who said, who controls the food supply controls the people. And this is ultimately, what they're trying to do, trying to get complete control of the food supply. That's why you have Bill Gates buying up all the farmlands and pushing this, all these GMO foods, these seedless fruits and or meats that are grown in labs and things of that nature. Okay. This is what the wicked do, man. Okay. So let's get another precept. This is Psalms chapter 64 and verse 5. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. Who? Okay. Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. All right. The chief house of Edom, Amalek, the Gettys, the DuPonts, the Rothschilds, these elite banking families. Okay. The ones that truly rule the world. All right. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privately. They say, who shall see them? Okay. And how do they lay these snares? Okay. They mainly lay these snares through their unrighteous decrees and policies, man. Okay. They're about to take all of this farmland, cause these farmers to go bankrupt. Okay. Because they're pushing a policy that's really not needed. Okay. But what? They have an agenda. So, hey, through the stroke of a pen, they change people's lives. Okay. And let's get another precept. Let's go back to that Daniel. Okay. 8 and 25, because I didn't finish it. And it reads, and through his policy also shall he cause craft to prosper in his hands. Yeah. Cause treachery. All right. Confusion, just hurting the people. All right. It says, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall he destroy many. And it's always, he always has a reason for what he's doing. And it's always, portrayed as this righteous reason. Oh yeah, we're coming to help Mother Nature, okay, to help the environment by stopping these nitrogen emissions. Okay, but ultimately, they're trying to affect the food chain, man. All right. So, and through his policy and through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart. And by peace shall he destroy many. He shall also stand up against the Prince of Peace, but he shall be broken without hand. Right, because that's his latter end. All right, to go up against who you people ignorantly call Jesus. His real name is Yahweh Shai, who's a so-called black man from the tribe of Judah. Okay, in this third world's war, and be defeated. Okay, and ultimately end up Obadiah 1 and 18. Okay, so from there we're gonna get Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 1, and we're gonna read it in the NIV version. All right, it reads, woe meaning destruction, to those who make unjust laws, to keep those who Salakia, woe to those who make unjust laws, to those who issue oppressive decrees, to deprive the poor of their rights and withhold justice from the oppressed of my people, making widows their prey and robbing the fatherless, man. And that's what Esau Edom does, man. That's what the wicked does. They're estranged from the womb, and all they do is cause mischief and look for ways to hurt the people. All right. So, you know what? I think we're going to end it on that, man. All right. So, Lord's willing, this was edifying. Once again, check out these two articles, man. It shows you how, these two situations are related. And they were definitely good reads. All right. So, Shalom, Israel. On to the next one.